are going to talk about the Portuguese border stitch. This one right here is the Portuguese border stitch. I love this stitch because I feel like it has so much texture to it. It looks complicated, but it's not really complicated, but it has great texture, and you can put rows of it next to each other, and it just looks awesome. Okay, the Portuguese border stitch starts with a base of horizontal lines, just little ones like this. Let me make sure we are in the picture. There we go. Starts with a base of horizontal lines like this. The width on those horizontal lines, I've tried a couple different widths to see what I liked. And it kind of depends on what look you're going for. On this one, my horizontal lines, they go through right here and you can't even see where they're peeking out from under. I did them fairly narrow on this because I didn't want them to show up at all. But I've also done a project where they stuck out on the sides right here and you could see them sticking out on the sides. So it kind of depends on what you're looking for. But if we were to count the threads that have to go on each one of these, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 threads wrapped around that bar each time, one direction or another. So you do need them to be wide enough that you can get 8 threads wrapped around and then it doesn't kind of crumple it. I actually like the size of this one. You know, it's wool, so I didn't come out in the right spot or I pulled it too tight. That one's a little shorter. Also, when you're creating these lines, make sure that if you start on the left, go down on the right, do that consistently. If you go left to right and then right to left and left to right and right to left, back and forth like that, it'll save you a little bit of thread because you'll only have to do a little bit instead of crossing, but it's less stable in putting this together. So make all the stitches the same direction on that one. Okay, when we start this stitch, we come out just below our top bar, very near the center. Okay, just below the top bar, very near the center. Now we are going to wrap around twice. So we'll go under bar 2, and then this is the wrap that comes in front. So we'll go under bar 1 and bar 2 together. Okay, see there's one wrap, and then we want a second wrap. That second wrap around bar 1 and bar 2, this will be the end of it right here, right? So let's go ahead this time and go under bar 3 to start our next row. So we have 2 wraps around the first 2, then go under bar 2 and 3. There's one wrap around bars 2 and 3. Make sure, yep, I'm in the video. And one more around 2 and 3. But remember, that'll be the end of 2 and 3, so let's go ahead and go under number 4. So that's 2 around 2 and 3. You don't want it too snug. You don't want to pull these rows too much together, but just snug enough, and that comes with practice, and just make sure it's not tweaking, it's not pulling your bars too far apart. Okay, so our first wrap in between 3 and 4, our first complete wrap between 3 and 4, then our second wrap between 3 and 4, and because the second one will be the last one, let's go ahead and go under the last bar. So there's 2 wraps. Make sure they lay down side by side. It looks like my first one isn't quite tight enough. It kind of wants to take over the second one, so I'm gonna I'll pull that back through just so I can tighten the first one a little bit more and then tighten the second one. And now our last one between bar 4 and bar 5. Whoops, there's one wrap. Yeah, let's get that one snug enough to begin with. And then a second wrap. Okay, what we've completed here is the right hand side. We're going to go back down under to the back. And if this weren't quite as short as it is, I would tie off my thread and start again. But since it's short, I'm just going to go back up to the spot we need to. Right under that first bar, and we're going to do the same thing, but this time we're going to wrap left instead of wrapping right. So the first thing we need to do is get under that number 2 bar so that we're ready to begin. So we come up right underneath bar 1, but we have to go under bar 2 before we're ready to start the process. So we're going to go 1 wrap. So under bar 1 and 2 for our first wrap, and under bar 1 and bar 2 for our second wrap, but that'll be the end of that one. So go ahead and go under bar 3 also. So we're ready to start that next one. Now, when you're making sure that this lays down in the right place, I kind of tip my thread to the outer edge so that it'll lay down in the right place. So I have to keep my hands out of the way as I show you this. Now we're going under 2 and 3. So this is our first wrap on 2 and 3. and our second wrap on 2 and 3. Go underneath number 2, go underneath number 3. I usually lay it to the right side as I'm going under, but to place it right, then I flip it to that opposite side. Oops, I forgot we were also supposed to have gone under bar 4 at that point. And you can see that if you don't go under them all at the same time, just get ready for the next one by going under. Okay, so first loop between bar 3 and 4. Lay it down on this side so it ends up where it's supposed to. Second wrap, bar 3 and bar 4, which will be the final wrap for that one. So go ahead and go under bar 5. Flip your thread over so it gets lined up correctly. Can you see how it's starting to form those double V's? That's what we're looking for with this stitch. First wrap around bars 4 and 5. Flip your thread to the right side so it lays where it's supposed to. Second wrap around bar 4 and 5. I only have 5 bars. If I had 6, I'd keep right on going. Don't forget to flip it over so it lays in line right where it's supposed to. And that is the Portuguese border stitch. It has a lot of personality to it. I've seen it with 2. We wrap twice on this one, and most of the time that is the standard, that it has 2 wraps on each side. But one of the times that I did it, I was using a size 8 thread instead, and I felt like it wasn't thick enough, so I wrapped 3 times each time I went around. So there is some variation that you can do that way. You can make these closer together but wider, but each one will have to have those 8 stitches across, so you can't make it much more narrow except to make these stitches further apart. Okay, that's the knotted Portuguese border stitch.